the McDonald's where the person who committed an assassination was caught, that McDonald's is now facing backlash. This is pretty bad, all right? Let's go to the video and I'll give you the background.
About what these review bombers are saying and what platforms they're using to post on.
Anywhere where you can leave a review about a business, they're going there. So it's Google reviews, it's Yelp. They are mentioning, to your point before, that this person who called the police on the shooter is a rat. They're making comments such as, there's rats in their kitchen. You can't trust that you're not going to get food poisoning there. Now, the tech companies are put in a really precarious position here because in one end, you want to never meddle with reviews, right? You want them to be organic, but what Google and others are saying is that these aren't real reviews. You're not a customer coming in and checking out this restaurant. You're just leaving a review to put a disparaging light on the business. And so they're actually going and removing a lot of these reviews. Yelp has turned off comments. But what's going to be challenging here, Boris, is this is really a game of whack-a-mole.
Put up the picture full mass. As I shared yesterday, I understand the emotional sentiment involved in this. Collectively, people are right. Health insurance companies have created an impossible situation that has harmed people of all walks of life. It is a scam at best. It's unaffordable and it fixes nothing. But as Dr. King echoed, you cannot root out darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. And as I've said before, King echoed the words. This is not the way. You cannot become the evil you seek to eliminate. What this does is it basically creates a connection between a person of good heart and now something that is very, well, I would just call it evil. Now there's a connection. There shouldn't be. You have a good heart because you have a good heart. You want people to have affordable health care because you give a damn about people. And sometimes those people you care about may not care about you the same way. I don't make my judgments about who I care for and why I care based upon somebody else caring the exact same way. I don't. I can't. All right. So put it back up. So Google, Yep, they are trying to pull these negative comments. I really don't care about that part. I care more about the heart. In the wake of Luigi Mangione's arrest this week at the McDonald's in Pennsylvania, the franchise has been flooded with a storm of bad reviews and press. Once again, I could care less about the corporation and how they deal with this bad press. The fast food location where police detained Mangione is being smeared on both Yelp and Google. The employees are being referred to as rats and snitches. These individuals, ladies and gentlemen, who work typically a minimum wage job, they are caught up in this somehow. And once again, we're pointing fingers at individuals who are simply trying to make ends meet themselves. They could really benefit from affordable health care too. But that doesn't mean they have to applaud something like this, okay? But it doesn't stop there. The McDonald's worker, Nancy Parker, who allegedly called the police, is actually facing the most backlash. Parker, who was reportedly working a shift at the fast food chain, noticed a customer who resembled a wanted fugitive and immediately contacted the NYPD, leading to the arrest. Online posts like these have been circulating since. Nancy Parker, damn boomer, you just had to ruin it, didn't you? The funny thing is, even though you turned in our hero to the police for the tip money, your claim was denied because you called 911 and not the tip line. Another poster wrote, all Nancy Parker had to do was stay silent. People, when they find out who snitched on our hero, I got to be honest with you. All right. I love my progressive friends and family members. But if you believe that's your hero, I would prefer you not even watch this show. That is not a hero. If you believe that is your leader, your hero, your champion, what makes your ideology any different than a white supremacist who believes that Nick Fuentes is their hero, who believes somebody who's willing to commit actual crime, murder, is a hero to them? These are not heroes. No, people who got killed for changing the world are heroes to me, like Dr. King, like Malcolm X. Not him. Misguided, I would say, for sure. There are better ways to fight this battle. We cannot become the inhumane in the humane. We cannot dismiss humanity in talking about humanity. All right, so now she may not receive the reward money according to the report. However, despite Parker's involvement, she may not be able to claim the reward money initially offered based on the assistance. The FBI announced the $50,000 reward, and the NYPD had promised $10,000 for information leading to the capture. However, Parker's chances of receiving either of these amounts are complicated by procedural issues. To qualify for the FBI's award, Parker would need to be nominated by the relevant authority, a process that has yet to happen. To claim the NYPD's reward, she would have needed to contact Crime Stoppers directly, as only tips submitted through the service are eligible. Since Parker called 911 instead, she may not qualify for either. Meanwhile, social media users have circulated alleged videos of Parker working at McDonald's, with some claiming she is a boomer and has been fired from a job. However, at the time of the writing, these claims remain unverified. Mangione remains in custody in Pennsylvania. He's fighting extradition to New York, where he faces second-degree murder charges. He's also facing charges of document forgery and criminal possession of a firearm. He was denied bail and remains in jail as he awaits further legal proceedings. I remember a very wise civil rights leader said to me that gains made by violence are typically not sustainable. There's kind of this pendulum that goes back and forth. But gains made because of the will of the people are always maintained. And that's it. Gains made by the will of the people are maintained. In a scenario like this, it's difficult, I know. Leadership, once again, is not always about who you motivate. It's also who you're willing to offend when necessary. I would prefer not to have this conversation. I would prefer not to be in this position. But right still has to be right. And our process and journey to get to our destination still matters. The way we get there is important. All right. Yas, thoughts here.
Yeah. This is funny to me because McDonald's has really just seen some very interesting press over these last few months. There's all that stuff with Kamala Harris while she was running for president. Then Trump did a whole photo op there where he said he worked at a McDonald's. And then they had the E. coli outbreak. And now there's this. To be fair, this one isn't really their fault. This was just one employee at one location that called in the tip. It wasn't like McDonald's was offering a reward for the arrest of this guy or otherwise incentivizing its employees to turn this guy in. But as far as Nancy Parker, of course, she's probably going to get her tip request denied. First, they offered an insulting $10,000 as the initial reward for tips, which is insulting specifically because companies like and including UnitedHealthcare have refused to cover medical bills of so much more than that for people who have already paid into the system. And oftentimes, whenever they deny those requests, people die or they suffer severely for it. This is just more pointless bureaucracy. This is the most infuriating aspect of living in the modern world. Wasn't that the plot of the show, the Loki show, the Marvel show? There's this guy in Colorado who committed suicide by driving an enforced tank into government buildings because they drove him crazy with bureaucracy. This is the modern world, and the healthcare industry is very much so an extension of this, if not the epitome of this. How many people have gotten into accidents and then they just said, you know what, don't worry about it, I'll be fine, because they didn't want to deal with insurance companies. This is a big, big problem that has been plaguing so many millions of Americans, right? Everyone is familiar with this sentiment, to the point where it's just become part of being an American. It's part of our cultural identity. So, you know, you can't be surprised whenever things like this do happen. And as far as Nancy Parker goes, you know, however you feel about what she did, she should get the money, but you know that they're going to try and find ways not to give her the money, which isn't going to help the situation at all. So
yeah, and it sounds just like the system on par, right? To dangle this money out here and then to treat an employee this way. She's already being harassed, obviously, by individuals that disagree with her making that phone call. The person that's at the lowest end of this social totem pole, allegedly, is the one getting the most flack, unfortunately.